There is no denying that Half-Life is probably one of the most influential games of all time. This game literally created the narrative-driven first-person shooter, at least in a modern sense. It took everything that was working from the past FPS games and then made it completely new, and it was amazing. I still remember this when I was a kid, and I was completely and utterly terrified of this game. And while playing Black Mesa, I remember why I was terrified. And yeah, in this video, we're going to be taking a look at Black Mesa, which is a fan remake of original Half-Life, and we'll be deciding whether this is worth it to buy right now or not. So without further ado, let's just get started. And as always, in every single one of my videos, I'm going to be giving you the answer right away, and the answer is yes, but not for everyone. And you need to be aware what you are getting yourself into. And yeah, I don't mean not for everyone because it's bad, but because of very specific type of gameplay that this game has. If you are a fan of Half-Life first or second or any Half-Life games, then yes, this game is 100% worth it. And if you have played any of the older boomer shooters and you are familiar with the mechanics, then yes, it's worth it. But if you are a new gamer that grew up on Fortnite and Call of Duties, the shooting mechanics and the overall game mechanics is a little bit challenging for you. So you need to be aware what you're getting yourself into. And yeah, that's why I made this video. But now let's get into the details. Oh, and this video is sponsored by, well, you just being here, and you watching this video support this channel, and which I am extremely thankful for. But if you want to support a little bit beyond that, you can hit that beautiful subscribe button down there, or if you want to go beyond that, you can go and click the join button and support the channel more tangibly and more firmly. And anyway, thanks for being here. Now to the video. So what is Black Mesa? Black Mesa is a very faithful recreation of the Half-Life 1 game. Original game came out in 1998, and more than 20 years later, they released a full version of this game. And right now, this is a complete version of the game. They released parts of the game bit by bit, but right now it's a complete and a finished version of the game, meaning that this recreates Half-Life from the beginning to an end and also adds some of the levels and expands some of the other levels. The gameplay feeling wise, this feels very much like an original and also Half-Life 2, but with a little bit of change mechanics, a little bit. And this change mechanics is all about the environments, the characters, and of course graphics. But first things first, let's start with the story, because the story was one of my favorite parts of the game. So story wise, Half-Life is beginning of all the Half-Life franchise, where you play as Gordon Freeman. Gordon Freeman is a scientist in a Black Mesa facility, and we are experimenting with some extra-dimensional stuff, and yeah, some stuff will go wrong, and the aliens will start pulling through, and everything goes to crap. I'm not gonna be spoiling anything, don't worry about that. Now your goal is to survive the destruction of the facility, the invading alien forces, and of course the army as well, who are trying to kill everyone and everything to cover the tracks. And the first thing that I immediately saw when I started playing the game is the voice acting and of course the graphics of the game. Game looks much more modern, and don't think that it will blow your socks off. This is more like a little bit better version of the Half-Life 2 graphics. This will not blow you away. It's still the source game. It's still the game in the same engine, but it looks much better, and it's not a sore for your eyes. It looks pretty good and plays pretty well. The text and graphics are crisp. The human characters are okay, I guess. The weapon models are fine, and everything looks quite good. And of course, the lighting is great as well. But where a game is actually different, quite differs from the first game, is in its characters. You see, in the first game, you had a few different type of characters. There was a security and there were a few scientists, and they actually expanded these few scientists into, well, specific scientists in the Half-Life 2. But here, you actually do have the characters from the Half-Life 2. Dr. Vance and Dr. Kleiner. You do have all those characters here, which makes it very cool to see those characters from Half-Life 2 now fleshed out in the first game. Also, the characters now can follow you and they can help you with the combat. They're not very useful, to be fair, but they can help you here and there. And you can also kill them right away as well. As for the gameplay itself, probably one of the most interesting parts for most people will be how does it feel to shoot in the game. And to be fair, it's not very far away from the original Half-Life and Half-Life 2 games. And if you're familiar how the CSGO plays, it's kind of like the same shooting mechanics, but with much less spread. At least in automatic weapons, you don't have to spray and pray, and when weapons are very accurate here. You have multiple different weapons that starts with your, of course, iconic crowbar. There's a pistol, there's MP5, there's shotgun, there's magnum, there's your crossbow. There are a few alien cannons, the bugs that you can throw, there are grenades, grenade launchers, and yeah, overall, there are quite a lot of weapons, and you unlock them one by one, depending how difficult the game actually will become eventually. You don't have any other progression, only the weapons. And as for game, how it feels like to play a game, well, you start the level, you get to the certain rooms, you meet certain enemies, kill the enemies, and then you probably will need to solve some puzzle, or you need to do some puzzling, then move on to the next room, then kill the enemies there, and so on and so forth. It's pretty straightforward and nothing complicated. Combat is very fast-paced because you're moving very quickly and your enemies are moving very quickly as well. It's not difficult, but it's quite quick. Puzzles and platforming is a bit more difficult because of a little bit of outdated movement system. At least it will be probably outdated for the most people who have never played the older games like this one. For me, it was fine. And one thing that will probably be frustrating for the non-old gamers, the younger gamers, will be the no hand-holding, because there are no quest markers, there are no maps, there's no nothing. The game does not tell you anything, and you need to find out what you need to do by yourself, and there are no highlights pointing you, yep, you need to go here, and there are no easy markers to make it easy for you to understand what you need to do. You need to actually, well, use your brain to do everything, and I actually loved it. When I was stuck, I would just retrace my step, do some things over and over again, and then suddenly I realized that, oh, the solution was here all along, and then I just moved on. And overall, it's a very beautiful game, but probably one thing that actually blew me away the most was Zen level. So Zen is level near the end of the game. I would say this spoiler as well, but not really. This game came out like 25 years ago. We deal with it. But the Zen level was probably the biggest difference from the original game, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's very gorgeous. I was blown away how gorgeous the Zen level is, and it was very, very cool. However, it was a little bit dragged. There was repetitive things that you need to do there, and I didn't like that a lot, but still, I was ready to forgive them for that. Another thing that I didn't like that, as far as I know, that they were not able to fix is the loading, because sometimes you would just move and you would just stop for loading for a few seconds and then continue, and yeah, it did not feel good in the modern times. Just did not feel good. It would just stop outright. It was not just, oh, the level is ended, fade to black, you will wait a bit and then start. It was like sudden loading and then it would continue. It did not feel good. As for the price-wise, game is available on Steam for the base price of $20 for tier 1 countries and $10 for tier 2 countries, and can go as low as $5 for tier 1 countries and $2 for tier 2 countries. Do you think I would say that this game is not worth it? Of course it is. Even for the base price, this game is worth it, because $20 for this very faithful recreation of an amazing game is absolutely steal. And if you're watching this during the sales for $5, go and grab it, man. Go and grab it. See for yourself the remake of the history of the FPS shooters. It's just absolutely worth it. Plus, the game is actually not short as well. It will take you around 15 hours to complete the game, and up to 20 depending on how fast and how good you are at playing. And also, the game has a multiplayer as well. I didn't check and didn't test, to be fair, multiplayer, so I cannot say exactly if there's anything happening there. But yeah, for the base game, 15-20 hours, it's an absolute amazing time. So yeah, I highly recommend this game, and you should grab it right away. Oh, and by the way, our Steam Curator page is already up and running, so if you want to see all of my reviews, videos, and a little bit of text review right there on Steam before you're gonna buy anything, just go and follow us there on Steam, so that you will not miss my reviews when you are buying the games. Now back to the video. Well, it should be for today. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.